Previously on A Fool's Errand.
KnightFall is missing. Network defender Snowshoe has searched for them to no avail. But when he receives a potential lead on KnightFall's whereabouts, he puts out a call for assistance in traversing the increasingly treacherous networks. And thus it is that the assassin Chase and KnightFall's sibling, Brass, find themselves joining Snowshoe's hunt. The three convene within the Dream Network, intending to locate KnightFall in the final tier of the network, the Manifestations tier. KnightFall was recently seen within a dream, and Snowshoe reasons that they may be able to find their location by finding the dream. As the search begins, our travelers' minds are flooded with pieces of memories and the reverberations of a lullaby. Within the lullaby, KnightFall's voice can be heard, urging the rescue party to be cautious in their approach. To proceed, our heroes must move to the next tier of the network, achieved by grounding themselves in reality. Brass does so by attempting to read, a task usually impossible while unconscious. Snowshoe makes the leap by connecting to his corporeal pain, while Chase progresses by deceiving the very network itself. Chase's tactic works well and the transition is smooth. But for Brass and Snowshoe, the jump takes a significant physical toll. And, even more concerning, during this process, Snowshoe receives a vision of the person who will next disappear into the networks. Snowshoe himself. With the price of passage paid, our party expects to meet in the Dream Network's second tier. But instead, they each find themselves alone, seemingly back in the real world. Only not where they left from, but back in their own bedrooms. And not entirely alone. For within the dark of their rooms awaits something unwelcome. Something shadowy and unnatural. Something that strongly resembles a nightmare.
I can hear you.
I am listening.
I can
hear the dissonance
Coming from all across your deepest fears.
Oh, how I miss you, my sibling.
I miss the
Symphonies. The eager pace.
The perfect shot.
Oh, these calamities, these
vacant and populous plains.
Oh, the memories we have in waiting.
But always with the
Warning that we are on a reverberating path of echoes.
You will be tired. You will be
Vulnerable.
Weakened. Exposed.
Do not despair.
You'll be
Fools on an errand.
You will know.
Planet Arcana.
You will find it.
All it takes is a little spit and oil.
All it takes is a little blood. All it takes is the truth.
All it takes
Is a key.
A star on Paragon's finest stage. Rise to greatness in the vertical city. CGA auditions start soon.
On down to Tommy Gaskets, the best oil for your Android joints, from the thorough lush to the good unwired. You can trust me with your futures. Don't take my word for it. Just ask one of my many satisfied followers.
Uncle Edict helped me get over the death of my wife. In fact, I barely think about her at all. Tuned for news at 13. With me. Finale 13.
My pleasure.
My pain is completely gone.
I live to serve. Hey, big spender. Win big at Riscotech Casino sometime, why don't you?
I don't even remember why I was sad.
And you'll never be sad again. You can put your trust in Uncle Edict.
You've awoken, each of you, alone. One moment you were passing from the Dream Network's first tier to its second, and the next you woke up in your beds at home. But you didn't fall asleep at home. Your real home certainly doesn't make your skin crawl. Your real home doesn't contain this writhing creature of shadow that slinks with impossible physics from wall to wall, closer and closer. This thing, this nightmare.
If it's black and slinking all over the place, it's got these white, sunken eyes that are gray in a way, a muted white, but you can see them exactly as almost if it's like in just staying in one spot as the shadow slinks across, and it kind of follows in the middle of the shadows as it goes across the walls.
No.
I reject it.
That's scary, Sarah.
Oh my god. The all-white sunken eyes follow you.
Snowshoe catches sight of this figure, this shadow, this monster. Stares at it right in the sharp, pointed beak as it lets out a howl like the cross between a wolf and a demon.
Within the shadows, kind of slinking across the room, our rooms, you can see alongside the off-white eyes, glimpses of other white, and as you try and focus and follow it as it moves through the shadow, you realize that there are several, maybe hundreds of skeletal grasping hands reaching out and then all of a sudden being yanked back into the shadows, not as if they're reaching for you, but as if they're trying to escape.
That was wretched, Drac. Thank you.
Really strong.
That's so wretched.
Yeah.
We enter into an encounter with this nightmare creature. The rules for an encounter are as follows. You can resolve this encounter in one of three ways: by harming your target, by aiding your target, or by escaping your target. Each option is represented by a track that is filled as players succeed on actions. Your method of approach is up to you, but we will tell you that for any encounter in the networks, the escape track is always the most difficult, because there's not really a direction that you can... There's no directions here at all. In no set order, each player will take a turn, and all cards must be drawn from the discomfort deck, unless you would like to spend a stamina to draw from your comfort deck. However, all moves already take one stamina, because this is a high-pressure situation. Whoever has an idea can speak up and describe their action, including which skill you'll be using and which track you're trying to fill: harm, aid, or escape. Then draw from your deck to see if you succeed. When each player has acted, your opponent will then take its turn. Players will draw cards to resist the opponent's action and determine how much harm they suffer as a result. This encounter is comprised of 3 rounds. If the players fail to fill one of the 3 tracks, harm, aid, or escape, well, they have lost the encounter and must suffer the consequences. Round 1.
Instead of using a skill, can I use an ability?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything, just basically you can do a skill, an ability, just any action is going to take an extra stamina here because it's high pressure. But yes, your power trees are certainly at your disposal.
Brilliant. I'd love to go first. Snowshoe's of the older sort, and as his 80-year-old, though it only looks 60-year-old body, gets out of bed, he realizes that he's in his barge. A long ship just filled with beds from side to side, all covered in red cloth to hide the bleeding. Snowshoe's alone. The walls around him are made of wood, painted blue, or at least they were a long time ago, as most of the paint has faded off. And as he gets up, the bed creaks, and his body does too.
This figure, this shadow, slinks around the corners of your room, every corner, filling up more space than it looks like it should. And the eyes, the white eyes, watch you, and the hands reach out.
I'd like to reach out myself and touch the air just beside this creature. twisting my hand and activating a tech ability called Minor Alchemy. So, air is a gas, right?
Yeah, at last I heard.
Last I checked,
Yeah.
I think so.
And it's made of like different particles like water vapor, right?
Nitrogen or something such.
And when you cool water vapor down, it turns into ice. And that's changing a state.
Oh, baby.
I would like to change the state around our subject from mostly gas to mostly solid to slow it down.
Wow. Is this a tech or a magic ability?
This is a tech ability.
Perfect. So, similar to in last episode when Chase was trying to see how long they could stay invisible, you're similarly seeing how long you can turn this area to ice and slow it down. So I'll have you take 1 stamina for using one of your power tree abilities. And then what suit is this? Pentacles?
Pentacles.
Perfect. And then I will have you draw from your deck until you draw anything other than a Pentacles card.
Does this take an extra stamina because all actions will take a stamina?
It most certainly does.
I'm down to 5. Good to know. Let's start drawing from the comfort deck, shall we?
Let's.
Pentacles. The Hanged Man.
That's fine. We don't do a wild card on a power tree draw because it will get a little funky.
Yeah.
But you did draw 1 pentacle, so you get the minimum interval, which is 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes of this thing being slowed, iced.
All right.
And because power tree abilities are always successful, would you like this ability to go in the harm track, the heal track, or the escape track?
I think this is exclusively a harm track.
Okay.
As it freezes, slows its progress towards you, you hear it say to you, Snowshoe,
Aren't you weary, child?
Snowshoe grabs the halberd that is always beside his bed, exhausted, and prepares to strike.
Chase shoots up out of bed. Their place really is sleek and modern in blacks and grays and charcoals with little accents of gold here and there. They bolt upright and immediately draw, and both of their hands turn into blasters because that's their modded hands.
Come on.
So their hands just kind of like split apart essentially and come back together in the shape of a gun, and they fire both guns at the same time directly towards each eye.
Oh.
ooh.
I feel like I know which skill this is going to be, but do you have a pitch?
Definitely just gonna use strike.
I mean, strike makes sense to me. You will be doing this from your discomfort deck unless you'd like to spend an extra stamina to make it a little more comfy.
No, I'm gonna do it from the discomfort deck. Let's go.
Why
okay,
not?
so
You will still take 1 stamina to
Right.
do this then.
yeah, okay, so down to 5 and pull from my discomfort deck. Do I still have that +1 from you, Snowshoe, or no?
No, unfortunately, it only
Okay.
lasts a round. Although, if
Cool.
you'd like, hey, DM, I've got an ability called Helping Hand. Could I use that here?
Is that like, what? Describe the ability. I don't remember it.
It's from the archetypes. Take 2 stamina to give someone +2 to their limit score on their next draw. Decide what you failed to prioritize in order to take care of other people.
Yes, you may spend your stamina at any point to help people out.
Great. I'm going to take 2 stamina, so I'm down to 3. As Snowshoe's holding the halberd, he realizes the presence of the others, even though they're not close. He's actually going to step forward into this creature's space, basically opening himself up to an attack to distract it from the others. Take +2 to your limit score for this 1 draw.
Oh, sick. All right, so now I have a +4 to my strike.
Wow.
So that would be, you need to hit a 10 or under it then, I believe.
Sounds cool. 6 of Pentacles.
Nice.
Yeah, your hands morph into guns and you shoot. And in this dreamlike state, I think all of you immediately pick up that something is wrong here. You're not really at home. And the bullets almost emphasize that, because almost like you're underwater, you can see them slow-mo coming out of the gun and then speed up suddenly to just pierce into this thing. I have to assume that's going into the harm track and not the heal or escape.
Absolutely into
We
the
love
harm
to see
track.
it.
as they do like a duck and roll out of bed, kind of like landing on the ground a la almost like superhero, kind of like shimmying under the bed to get out. It's like
perfect.
And as the bullets from your finger guns reach their targets, those white orbs, they shatter into sparks, and you hear a pained yet entreating voice from it call to you.
Are you not plagued by your own memories?
The fuck out of my house.
Okay, so I have a power from the wand's power tree. I can wield and withstand an element, and I chose metal.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one that says minor elemental miracles, draw 3 cards. I have an idea, and I don't know if it counts as a minor elemental miracle.
It might.
I think it would. So for a magic ability, just to give you some context, you're basically drawing to see how much stamina this is going to cost, rather than it be a time interval.
Yeah, okay. As Brass lays in bed, doesn't seem to have moved despite seeing this creature flitting around their room, which I will describe is a very simple loft kind of apartment. Very minimalistic. It doesn't seem like they have many possessions. The walls are painted a deep, dark blue. The bed they're on is kind of old. You can either they have had it for a while or just picked it up from like a junkyard and slapped the mattress on top of it. The body of the bed, they can feel the springs digging into their back inside the mattress, and the creaking of the metal frame underneath them as their eyes flit around to follow the shadow. And I would like to, very casually, Brass will reach up and grab onto the head of their bed frame, and I want to use my ability to wield metal and make them, I guess elongate to spikes as this creature nears me.
That's really cool. So I'll have you draw your magic ability, and let's see just how stressful this is for you. So the idea here is that you're going to draw 3 cards from your comfort deck. You'll take 1 stamina just by the act of doing this in an encounter anyway.
Yeah.
For every card that isn't a wand, you'll take an additional stamina, but it will work.
Okay, so a wand immediately.
Great.
A sword. 2 swords.
Okay, so in total then, this will cost you 3 stamina.
Woof.
Of your 7.
Yeah.
But you... This is so fucking cool. You reach back and you grab the bedpost.
Yeah.
And you like turn it into metal spikes. Are you grabbing these to use for weapons?
I grab them and you hear the metal of my hand clank against the metal of the bedpost and my other, and they squeeze, and you kind of see the point where it connects to the rest of the bed kind of get thinner and thinner until it snaps. I just have 2 spiked metal rods in my hands, and essentially try and jam it into the eye of this creature as it gets close to me. Still laying in bed. I haven't gotten up yet. I just lay in bed trying to jam it into the eye of it.
It's taking up so much space in this room that I think the act of doing this is a success. And I'm assuming that we're going into the harm track again.
Yes.
No one wants to heal the sleep paralysis demon?
No.
It's just a widow demon.
I'm sorry, do you want to heal the sleep paralysis demon?
Well, what if it's lonely? It just wants a friend.
What if it's misunderstood?
Maybe it shouldn't be a demon.
So true. That's on you, bud.
This creature's eyes have taken some abuse, and as you plunge those rods, those spiked rods, deep into the eyes, they extend and the same static sparks emerge from it, and yet it continues to lean closer, so slowly, determined, and it says,
Let me put your mind at ease. Let me keep it tucked away.
I don't think Brass responds. They just try to jam it further in.
Smart.
as this thing independently leans down over you in these 3 rooms, as it entreats you to allow it to soothe you in some way, it feels incredibly wrong. Something escapes from your mind. at this point, something from the fearful, painful, or grief-stricken part of your mind, and manifests here. It actually escapes from its own eyes, from those glowing, bright white orbs. What escapes?
Something escapes, a vapor of some kind, forming over this monster's face, transforming it into the very image of KnightFall.
Wretched.
And they speak to you, Snowshoe. Their face is racked by anguish. Their voice is filled with blame as they open their mouths and say,
You left me to vanish into this place.
I see amongst the skeletal hands reaching out of the shadows, the hand of KnightFall reach out, as if looking, searching for help. And immediately afterwards, or right beside it, another skeletal hand reaches out. And at first it's like all the others, it doesn't seem to be much different, but on closer inspection, it has a wedding ring identical to the one of his mother, as both KnightFall and Symphonic reach out of these shadows.
and alongside these hands, Brass, come with them a reverberation of the past. The sounds of explosions, the sounds of your sibling and mother as they call out for each other and for you.
From its eyes, something bursts out and just covers the room in shadow, almost as if it was like blood, but it's like more wispy shadows that just all across the room.
The blood that erupts, it also brings with it a sound. The sounds of the final pleading words and screams of so many of your victims.
No, please stop.
No, don't. You don't have to do this. I want to live.
You're dead.
Yes, they are. A little bit of an offensive has been levied against you, folks. I think we need to draw some cards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in this moment, as these pieces of memories escape you, I'm going to have each of you from your discomfort deck, and this won't cost a stamina, draw from your discomfort deck either soothe as you attempt to soothe yourself, or analyze as you attempt to remind yourself that this isn't real. It's up to you.
One of my abilities for the operator archetype is at the start of every encounter, declare a skill that you have a tool for. Get a +2 to your limit score when drawing this skill. And amongst the many rings I have on my hands, one of them is my mother's ring to remember her by.
Jiminy Christmas.
And this is my tool to add a +2 to the soothe draw.
Which mother?
Symphonic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it.
Perfect.
Hey, my friends, my folks, can I hit you with something?
Yeah.
I failed.
Oh,
Do you want to know what I did? Yeah. I crit failed again.
Oh my god! Drac, what is happening with your deck?
I
don't know.
Absolutely terrified to proceed right now, but we're gonna do it.
This is a really emotional time for Brass.
This fucks so hard. I succeeded again.
Yo! Okay.
Yes.
Chase is cool as a cucumber. Meanwhile, Snowshoe fails, which counts for 1 experience point, which we'll all track. Brass critically fails again, which, hey, 2 experience points. Hey, we're experience point rich.
Yeah.
But Chase, this thing does stress you out, so you will take 1 stamina.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Brass and Snowshoe, what you're seeing is painful. And I'm going to have you each take 3 stamina as you endure it.
Curse of the he-hims right there.
So true.
It is, yeah.
If I may, Snowshoe grunts as this thing takes the opportunity to strike him because I have another scar.
Oh, that's right. You were down.
Oh my god. So you took this scar because you maxed out, you ran out of stamina points, which in this game, you'll go back to your regular amount of stamina, but you're a little hurt for doing so.
Yep.
Oh, baby. How many scars do you have now? 2?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
And we go back to, in no set order, the players taking their turns. Who would like to go first in this instance? And let me know if you would like to, and then we're going to do something funky.
All I want to say is that because this was another scar taken, because I drained my stamina during an encounter, my sacrifice would still motivate the other party. Can they experience me enough to be motivated to take +1 to their limit draws?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Why not?
I love how you keep looking out for us.
Love you too.
Is that a move, or is that just just like an inherent ability?
Archetype ability. It's a inherent thing. You got this, kid.
Fantastic. Oh, we love to see it. Okay, would you like to go first, or are you passing it to whoever?
I'll go first. Why not? I went first the last time. I got struck.
Okay.
I'm bleeding from more places than I should.
And as you go to take your next action, Brass and Chase, you find yourself ripped through time and space out of your rooms and onto the barge. And you find yourselves with Snowshoe.
He was already looking bad the last time you saw him. He looks worse.
Damn, you got fucked up.
Thank you for pointing it out. And as he says that, he's already slicing up underhanded, trying to bisect this thing, or at least cut one of its legs off with his halberd.
Oh, cool.
Metal as shit, Snowshoe.
What skill?
That's strike.
Yeah, strike makes sense. All right, take 1 stamina for doing the action in general.
Let me see how lucky I feel.
Do you feel lucky?
I don't feel lucky. I'm going to take another stamina, making it 2 stamina for this action so I can draw from my comfort deck instead. Is that okay?
Oh, I love that.
Just begging for scars.
Literally.
They look so cool on me.
They do.
It's true.
It's a good thing I did that. So that's a 10 of swords.
And what did you have to draw under?
10.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy hell.
Holy mackerel. So just barely you slice through this thing with your halberd, and you all watch it now, all being in the same place. The halberd goes through the shadow. Smoke erupts around the halberd from where it's pierced. You can almost feel the tension release as it goes through something real, and you hear the noise of something being pierced. I assume that's for the harm track. I don't know why I'm asking.
Actually, it's going to be for the aid track. Actually, you know what? You know what? Because he took some extra stamina, the halberd glows yellow. And it shifts between several different kinds of halberd, almost like seeing them in dreams of multiple people. And as I twist it down, I'm going to try and stop one of those halberds into the ground, preventing it from moving, hopefully giving us a chance to escape.
I love this.
Okay, 1 for the escape track. And as you strike down with your halberd through this thing, it goes...
Why forecome you to the temper temporal if you do not wish to stay?
You took something of ours. We'll take it back.
And who would like to go next? And I have a question for you when you decide.
Pew pew.
Chase, would you like to perform your action here in the barge or in your home?
What I want to do, I can do it anywhere.
Perfect. And so we stay put.
When Snowshoe bisects this thing, Chase had their hands like together parallel, and once the thing is bisected, it splits. They split their hands further to account for both sides, and they're literally shooting one after the other.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely going to use strike one more time. And this is from my discomfort deck, yeah?
Yes, unless you want to spend an extra stamina to make it from your comfort deck.
Okay, let me see here. We got a new +1 from you, right?
From Snowshoe.
Okay, so that gives it a 9.
Pretty good.
That's
Oh,
pretty
9's
good.
not bad.
Yeah, nine's not bad at all.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Let's see what happens. I pulled the 4 of Pentacles.
Oh, we love to see it.
Fuck yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, 4 of Pentacles is absolutely a frickin' success. Chase, you're shooting. You're shooting, no problem. This thing's bisected, you're shooting left, right.
I don't miss.
You don't miss. Is this to harm it? Or to heal it? Or are you trying to get away from it? Which is fair.
We're gonna do more harm. We're gonna do more harm.
Yeah.
I want to fill up the harm track before I start thinking about an escape route. I fight.
And as your finger bullets rains down upon it, this creature entreats you.
You come to this ancient place that only wishes to store your most painful recollections, and you show it no respect.
If you're not fucking me or feeding me, I don't care.
And and we look to Brass. Brass, where would you like your action to take place?
Does it have to be in my room or can it be anywhere in my memory?
Take us somewhere if you like.
Okay. As Brass watches all of this go down, watches Snowshoe slam this halberd and pin the creature down into the ground, and how Chase fires shot after shots and slamming into the body of this fiend. All I can remember, all I can think about is the screams. The crumbling of stone as parts of buildings collapse after the explosion, the sirens and the panicked yells, and my sibling KnightFall falling for our mother. Mom! And very suddenly we're pulled from the barge and dropped into the rubble-strewn street that I, my sibling KnightFall, and my mother Symphonic were walking down when the attack occurred. I imagine even in this space, in the dream network, emotions can affect the surroundings pretty significantly, and I think you see, not just on the expression, but almost like an air, an aura around them, a sudden shift between mourning, which is very suddenly stifled and drowned by the feeling of anger. And it seems to pulse from Brass as they, with tears in their eyes and gritted teeth, charge towards this creature. And I am going to just pummel it with my fists, my legs, my feet, my hands, my head, as I use my power tree, my power skill, swords. The weapon I've mastered is my body.
Oh.
I'm gonna beat the crap out of this shadow.
Yeah. Devastating. What power are you using?
As I pummel into this thing, with each strike, you see slowly but surely the shifting of my metal prosthetic into almost claw-like appendages. As I use my magic skill, my wand's power skill, I can wield and withstand metal. A minor elemental miracles draw 3 cards as I make my hands into a metallic claw with each strike.
Absolutely outstanding. So please spend 1 stamina to do this ability at all.
Yep.
And then we'll find out just a little bit how much harder it is.
So the moment I use my 1 stamina, I've got 0 stamina left, so I take 1 scar.
Oh, great. Just a little scar taking.
As I guess makes sense, I'm morphing the thing that as for many years now has been part of my body.
Mm-hmm.
And then I draw from my comfort deck.
Draw 3 cards.
Okay.
And for every card that's not a wand, you'll take an extra stamina.
I'll do 2 swords, 1, so 2 stamina.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
So in total 3 stamina, but you connect with your body and this thing.
It's frantic and furious the way that your claws transform. It rends something from inside you, and indeed you feel physical pain connecting with the emotional pain of hearing this moment repeat itself. The screams of your sibling and your mother, this shadow creature on the ground, growling, writhing. It pulls out of you something so excruciating that you almost feel yourself slip out of the moment, and then you're back at it, and between pummels, this creature below you entreats you.
I grow this place. It grows because of me, and it grows quickly. Come with me. I will show you. You will understand when you see it. Come.
The only response as a blind rage washes over Brass is over and over and over. Die, 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 die.
Oh. And you pummel it, and this thing as it's being pummeled, takes its toll on you.
This thing is feeling what is being done to it. You can sense a measure of panic that is equal to the sensation of it trying to bring you with it somewhere. It desperately reaches out to each of you as you try to rend it in twain, as you try to shoot it, as you try to tear it. It reaches out, its bright white eyes pulling you down into it and pulling from you a terrible memory.
Snowshoe remembers something recent, a pit message. Walking to a creation point, a place where baby androids learn how to become adults, a place where he is a tutor and a teacher. Snowshoe was bringing several small androids to the center when he received a voice recording from Edict.
Citizens of the Fifth Collide, I weep with you.
A pompous man, technically his boss,
We require a new leader, a trusted, proven leader.
declaring his intentions to become regent, and a threat that anyone who stood against him, at the very least, could be out of a job. And at the worst,
Lend your support to this election. Change the world for the better, before it changes without us.
and then the memory fades.
Chase is a lot more human, younger. It's their pilot mission, as their mom put it, to see if hunting was for them or not, whether or not they could live up to their family's notoriety in the world of bounty hunters. And they are excited, nervous, scared, all at the same time. But it's not going as planned, not the way that their parents had went over with them time and time and time and time again. Everything went to shit very quickly.
And you hear your mother's voice reverberating through time as she desperately tries to instruct you to not hesitate, Chase.
They hesitated.
Yes, you did.
Oh boy. As I'm swinging into this creature and wisps of shadow seems to fly off of it, my only real indication I'm doing any harm to it, these wisps seem to coagulate and collect until they're a image, almost like a phantom image of young KnightFall, young Brass, and a still living Symphonic walking down these streets moments before the explosion. And I'm watching. I'm no longer just in the aftermath of it. I'm watching almost a play-by-play up until the moment made out of shadow and, for lack of a better term, ghosts.
Mm-hmm. In the moments before the explosion, a memory that shouldn't be bad but is because of the recollection of it, as your sibling simply reaches for your hand and looks at you with affection.
Ow.
Yeah, that's pretty right. I'm gonna give you that one for sure.
Send me your bills for therapy.
It's actually sitting in your email right now.
You all sit in bad memories. I'm going to have you all do the same thing we did last time, where you can either soothe yourself or analyze the situation and just try to remind yourself or convince yourself that this isn't real, at least not right now.
It's from the discomfort, right?
And this will again be from your discomfort. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
This feels too real for Snowshoe, too truthful. He feels responsible. And yeah, I failed again.
What is up with y'all's decks? Shuffle them better.
Some of us came here to get scarred today.
Sam, don't tell me this is a skill issue. Come on.
So as Brass punches into the shadow, he can feel the ring, the only thing he has left of his mother, digging into his fist with each punch. And weirdly enough, that helps soothe them. I think they lean into the anger of it. They ignore this vision that's being shown to them and unleash their anger on this shadow, as I drew a 3 of cups and succeed.
Oh, that is a good success. How about you, Chase? I hate to remind you that you did talk a big game right before this.
I really did. And this is, I was like, I'm talking all this shit. And I put my hand down on the card and I was like, This is going to be the time that I get fucked, isn't it? And this was absolutely the time I got fucked. I was trying to soothe myself, but I pulled a 9 of wands. So,
Hey, Chase,
yeah, that's
Chase.
definitely over my 6.
Chase, get good.
I have been. You get on my level. This is my first failure.
We can only have one success at a time. That's the
So, Chase and Snowshoe, I think that this almost makes sense that you both fail this, because in Brass's case, at the very end of this bad memory, someone reached out to him, physically grabbed his hand, and in that, Brass, you were comforted. And so I'm going to have you only take 2 stamina, but for Chase and Snowshoe, you are each taking a scar.
First scar of the game, baby.
I've reached the scar threshold.
Stop it.
Oh my goodness. So scar threshold, we have them at scar 3, scar 5, and of course scar 7, the threshold is that you leave, whether it be by death or otherwise. And because of the scar threshold, we might see some development in Snowshoe. The cool thing about this is that Snowshoe, you now have access to the higher tier abilities for purchase because you're just fucked up enough to be able to get them. Who wrote this game? It's fucked up.
Yeah, he did
Look
that.
at this.
That's wild.
Honestly, how dare they?
Who did this?
We find ourselves in the final round of this encounter. And what I will tell you all is that this thing appears to be on its last legs, being harmed wise, especially after Brass pummeled the absolute living shadows out of it. The stakes for this round are a little higher. If you fail your check, you will be taking a scar, and we will flavor it as such. So that being said, we could end this the next check, but we could also get very hurt. Who would like to go first? Ooh, Chase, ready with the guns.
Always ready, baby.
Very cool. I mean, it's worked so far.
It has been. It has been. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once again, strike out of my discomfort deck. Okay. Whew. I had to pull an 8, and that was an 8 of wands exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, Chase, I'd like you to describe how you end this encounter. How do you give this sleep paralysis demon a nightmare?
Chase being haunted by that memory of their mother, telling them not to hesitate. They've learned their lessons since then. What happens is it kind of ends up being like in slow-mo. Chase whips around Brass, and from behind Brass, they kind of throw their hand almost like they're trying to curve the bullet while shooting to go around Brass and hit this demon directly where their eyes were before. As the second bullet hits this demon and it crumples to the ground in just a puddle of shadow and darkness, Chase walks over to it and kicks the shit out of it. I told you I don't fucking miss.
You kick the living shit out of this thing. You kick it right in what might be its face, and something pours out of it. Shadows, like you said, a puddle of shadows, like a geyser coming from its face and into the ground in a torrent. And as it does, it bleeds off its body, these shadows, revealing the figure of a person, a very humanoid cloud android. His eyes glowing a warm amber. His body is made of a gray metal with a purplish sheen as it catches the light, and he wears the typical red robes of a specter embroidered with elaborate silver details, adorned by metal piping on the shoulders, and with fabric that falls straight down and obscures his arms within the folds. Chase and Brass, you recognize this figure. It matches one you've seen on Pip many times as he delivered religious sermons and lectures to the people of the Fifth Collide. This android has a position of power within the Spectres, the spiritual faction of this continent. Snowshoe, you recognize him as well. But not just from Pip broadcasts. No, you recognize him from the way his own deeds have impacted those you care for. From the tainted drugs he circulates using creation points. From the hushed whispers and growing anxiety among creation point tutors. And finally, you recognize him from the memory you were forced to revisit only minutes ago. Uncle Edict, the man who seeks to overthrow the current sitting regent.
Snowshoe drops the halberd and shoves his hand into Edict's face, trying to reach past it and into his brain, into his thread, if he really is here.
I think that you sense that he is not. And with that sensation, you understand perfectly. This is Edict's doppel, but something is very, very wrong with it. No doppel that any of you have ever seen. Well, Brass, you have some experience with glitches. They might manifest like this, but for all of you, this is the most extreme version of someone's doppel becoming corrupted that you've ever seen.
I would like to use a network ability if I could.
Oh my god.
My current network ability is mend, heal, or repair something or someone. And as much as I detest it, as much as it sickens Snowshoe, and it does, and it's hard to hide it from his face, this doppel cannot be allowed to manifest its shadows again. It must be mended, and so I will mend it.
And so you do. You reach your hand into where the brain of this thing would be, into this cloud android that is made of shadow and made of network stuff. You reach in and you pull for the golden thread and you do not find it, but you do find something else, a piece that you can manipulate. And because you, Snowshoe, have at least 50% good in you, if not much more, you twist this doppel and you fix it. You mend it. Uncle Edict, in these final moments of disappearing, sinking away into wherever it will end up, it looks at you.
Another healer. And then it's gone. As Uncle Edict's doppel is mended in some curious way that surprises even him, the memory of your rooms at home fades, and so do the visuals, bleeding away to reveal your first real glimpse of the Dream Network's second tier, the emotions tier. The pastel fractals from the memories tier transform into gem-toned lights that shine from every direction, bringing with them waves of emotion. Swirling around you are billowy clouds of pastel which eclipse your view forward. Deep blues glow, highly pigmented reds and pinks, vivid yellows and oranges, and lush greens. The endless overlapping and refraction of these colored lights creates a dazzling hall of mirrors effect. The colors you see before you in the emotions tier are blue, corresponding to calmness or sadness, red, corresponding to love or anger, yellow, corresponding to confidence or self-doubt, and green, corresponding to energization or to feeling overwhelmed. And as Edict becomes dragged away through it, refracted through that light, as your attention follows him, arises a memory. It's a memory of Stellar, almost as though on a theater screen. What color is this memory?
I think green.
And which emotion do you associate with this memory?
Overwhelmed.
This memory of Stellar, this overwhelming memory. Tell me about it.
It is rare for the so-called leaders of the Network Defenders to meet in person. In fact, Snowshoe has only ever met one of them in person. In a way. In the networks. Stellar. She was chasing after some creature of some kind, something brought about by a glitch, and then she found the edge. The edge between the digital and the dream, or the dream and the digital, or something in between, or neither at all. This is the day Stellar went missing. This was the day Snowshoe lost the last person they ever called their partner. Don't push me away. Wherever you are going, I can come with you. Please. But Stellar didn't listen. Stellar fell. Or jumped. and Snowshoe crashed into the alpine snowy slopes of the cold breaks, pulled out from his bed as if by a monster. Broken. Bleeding.
An overwhelming memory of Stellar, to be sure. And as it fades, you all watch it drift away through the green-colored refraction. But Brass, you've been watching the whole time. And you've been doing so in a quiet, intense state. Because the person you see in the memory, the one Snowshoe calls Stellar, when you knew her, she was called Itinerant.
Oh.
And she was your mother.
She looks so close to how you remember her. She has a smooth white frame with thin stripes of yellow, red, blue, and black at the joints. From the chest up, her frame is humanoid. Long, slender arms poke through an expensive-looking denim jacket, sleeves rolled up to the elbow showing grease and oil stains up to her forearms. The base of her body is a bell shape, from her waist to her feet, vaguely resembling the skirt of a hanbok. The bell shape has invisible seams down the middle, at the knees, and at the ankles for mobility. She is all at once, fashionable and functional, beautiful, intelligent, fierce, and she is your mother.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go breathe heavily. Excuse me.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
Damn,
boy.
I wish I had popcorn.
Brass, this entire time, even before this entire encounter, the moment we stepped into the Dream Network, Brass has been watching Snowshoe. There's a part of him that still blames Snowshoe for the disappearance of his younger sibling, KnightFall. And then seeing this, the mother that disappeared on KnightFall and Brass, the person who was meant to love Symphonic till death do them part, has been living a whole life, not just without them, but with Snowshoe. Without missing a beat, he tackles Snowshoe to the ground and holds a blade of his arm to his throat. First you take my sibling, and now I learn you somehow are responsible for the loss and disappearance of my mother?
What?
That was my mother. Our mother. KnightFall and my mother.
She was a network defender. She and I started going to the network's grounds. She was your mother?
Why did you let her go?
I didn't. She pushed me away. She had a habit of doing
You should have done more.
I tried. I lost her too. And I have built myself back up as best as I could. I didn't want to lose her. And I've spent every moment since thinking about her, wishing I could bring her back, even knowing our relationship could not be the same ever again.
Your relationship.
I loved her.
So did my mother.
Brass, I know. I didn't. Stella had more than one partner. And perhaps it was not healthy. It was not, maybe it was. I don't know. I just know that I knew that Stella had someone else. But we had something too. And then one day it all changed. I loved her the way your mother loved her. And then I lost her the way your mother lost her. I do not expect sympathy from you. I know you will not give it, and I'm not asking for it. I'm just asking to understand that she was much more complicated, more complex than you give her credit for.
Brass stares down at you for a moment. The blade that's been extended from his arm pressed right up against your neck, maybe even drawing blood. And then very suddenly, he pulls his arm away and gets up off of you. We need to find KnightFall.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Y'all are done? This whole time, Chase has literally been like plopped a squat, like just sitting back, just watching back and forth between the two of you like a tennis match.
Brass doesn't say anything.
We have a mark. Let's go.
Hold on. Where are we?
Plops
Because
back
this
down.
is... We should have progressed into Tier 2. This is not how Tier 2 works, or at least it shouldn't be. And why would Edic's Doppel be here, in the Dream Network? Edic's an android. Something is very wrong.
Well, I mean, can't you kind of go back and forth between the two if you're like us? And I point to me and Brass.
Edict is not like us, but more importantly, when you first entered the digital network, I'm assuming you did, you were rather late. You saw your doppels, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that fucker. Why?
Because you came into the digital network, your doppels were drawn with you to the first tier. But that is not where they normally live. In your home network, they live on the third tier, and they stay there, which means that Edict must have come into the dream network somehow, brought his doppel with him, and if he can do that, never mind.
I would like to try something.
Oh.
Especially after this very traumatic experience. I would like to do something very similar to what Snowshoe did earlier, trying to find the location of the dream. But can I try to find KnightFall's thread directly?
The issue that you've all run into at this point is that when you've gone in looking for their thread, it has not appeared for you like it should. And this pretty definitively tells you all something, which is that they are in the networks. Because when you go in searching for someone's golden thread, you're like looking for their doppel. But KnightFall themselves is here and stuck just as you thought.
Okay.
For that matter, all of you, for different reasons, feel the closeness of your target. Chase is someone who is experienced with finding a mark. You have that feeling that you're getting closer. And for Snowshoe and Brass, the line to KnightFall is drawn and it's near. And you can both tell that all it takes is to get a little deeper into the networks.
I did not mean to distract all of us. Something is happening here that I've never experienced before. But to find KnightFall, I think we all know what we must do. So are we ready?
I'm the only one that has been standing near the exit this whole time. Y'all two are fighting.
I mean, to be fair, this is the network. The exits are everywhere.
I've been the only one that's been ready this whole time. Y'all two have been fighting.
Snowshoe just wipes some of the blood from off of him because it's just everywhere now. And then, rubs his hand across his graying hair. Then you can lead us.
Okay, then. And Chase will literally be like, fuck is wrong with this guy? And start stomping ahead.
The moment Chase does, Snowshoe turns to Brass. Really?
Yeah, there was no strings attached, so it was just easy.
Fucking heard that.
I wasn't whispering as I keep walking.
Look, I'm not going to... You're young, I should not judge your choices. Never mind. Go for it, Ella. Take up the rear.
And Brass will follow Chase.
Acting like I fucking said, let's get married. No, it's just let's fuck. I don't understand.
You all head towards the jumping point to reach the final tier of the Dream Network. And once again, there is a trial. This one's a little different, though. All it asks of you is to ask a question. Any question. Well, any question that you want to know the answer to.
Okay, so is this another try that we've probably done before? So can we...
Yes.
Okay. Will we get a straight answer, or will we know that we'll get like a vague, maybe nonsensical answer?
It depends on what you ask, really.
Okay.
Oh, and speaking of that, I think that you all know that the one thing that you cannot ask, or at least the one thing that it will not respond to, is you cannot get someone's true name out of this. That seems to be the only boundary.
Makes sense. Okay. As Brass enters this jump, or nears this jump point, the entire time they've been slowly a combination of their abilities here and also just mechanical prowess have been kind of reconfiguring their hand to return back to its original shape. We'll look up at nothing in particular, almost like they're regarding the network itself, and we'll ask, what is endangering KnightFall?
And I'm going to ask you to do something a little funny here.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to draw from your comfort deck until a major arcana appears. And this is the major arcana that will deliver your answer to you.
Oh, okay. First card, Lovers.
Oh, oh, that's nice.
The Lovers. First, you pose the question. and a warm sense of affection, a full-bodied sensation of nurturement enters you and spreads slowly through your veins. You receive your answer. What is hurting KnightFall? The answer? Hi, bambino. Poor KnightFall. A victim of more than one. Now please, take your time and compose yourself. Si, bambino. The lovers has all the time in the world.
I wasn't prepared.
Bello. Per favore. Let me give you an answer. KnightFall is a fallen victim to more than one cause of harm. One cause, the temper temporal itself. The other, one known only as X. She harms him too. Go forth with my blessings, bambino. Oh.
Love the echo.
It's so funny that that's the one that got dropped. Peccato.
I love that.
You receive your answer from the lovers and you feel the sense of the lovers fall away, and I'm going to ask you to do two things. The first is to mark the lovers on your obligation track. They too have reached out and embroiled themselves in your life.
I love that. I think that's really good because I flavored the lovers as finding, says, join the adventure to find your true love as a motivation, but I was like, it's going to be sibling-like love to find KnightFall. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I really like that. Okay.
And then the second thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you draw 3 cards from your discomfort deck. And before you reveal them, I'll set up the stakes here. If any of these 3 cards are a major arcana, I'm going to have you max out the lover's obligation track, which will incur a calamity.
Oh.
Good gravy.
Okay, cool. Okay. Damn. Okay. First draw. 10 of Cups. We're good.
Okay. Safe.
Second draw. Strength.
Chuck, I swear to God.
Strength.
Wow.
Do I keep drawing? I draw one more.
No, you're
Okay,
good.
cool.
We've accomplished what we've set out for, so I'll have you max out the lover's obligation track, and we will decide what calamity is incurred after we get through the other players.
And just as a bit of a flavor for you, you feel the admiration and gratitude of the lovers fill you up as you take great strides towards this goal of yours, and simultaneously you feel the rage of 2 other arcana swelling up from within a void that you have created. Who's next?
I guess I'll go. What's happening again? I just got so sidetracked.
Oh, you're good. All we want you to do is ask any question that you would like the answer to.
Okay. Chase asked, where's my mark? I know they're here.
I will have you follow the same procedure. I will have you draw from your comfort deck until a major arcana appears.
Okay. The chariot.
The chariot. Oh, good.
Fuck.
So, the sensation of the chariot floods your surroundings. The chariot's tenets are willpower, victory, overcoming. You feel all of these sensations as you receive your answer.
Chase, Chase, Chase! You've come into the network and you've really impressed us over here in Chariot Town. And now you come to us with a question. And someday you will receive your answer, and that day is today. Your question? Where is your mark? Your answer? Further with KnightFall.
Damn, so I do gotta go with him.
Frito!
All right.
I swear some of these arcana have normal, perfectly gravitas-filled voices.
I was just thinking it's so funny for a god to say frayed so.
Frayed so.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, none of y'all just picked a hermit or anything normal? No?
And as you receive your answer, I will have you mark off the obligation track, just one track for the chariot, as it too reaches out and embroils itself in your life and your adventures.
Cool, cool, cool.
And then once again, I will have you draw 3 cards from your discomfort deck, and if any of them are major arcana, you too will incur a calamity.
Okay, you said draw from my discomfort, 3 cards from the discomfort deck.
Please.
If any of them are major, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
That's
short,
it, baby.
Cool, cool.
Uh-oh.
2 for 2 so far. Last one.
Okay.
Yes.
God.
Wildly enough, that's a 10, 9, and 8 of pentacles.
Wow.
Interesting.
Cool.
Okay, the chariot wraps itself around you, but only briefly.
Make me proud, kid.
Got it, dude.
And you too travel to the final tier, and Snowshoe, you are the last remaining network defender here.
I'm so scared that you asked to go last.
Yeah, what the fuck are you gonna ask us?
How do I find true love? No,
Stop.
Pacemaker somewhere, his heart just breaks.
Love. True love.
point of order. I discovered a secret about Stellar Windbreaker. Didn't I?
Oh no. What does that mean?
One of my ribbons is an Inquirer, which was my second archetype, is to discover someone else's secret.
Oh my god.
Does this count?
100%. 1,000,000%.
And I'm going to take an extra XP because of that.
Absolutely.
Here's another question. When I started out this combat, the first thing I did was to sacrifice some of my own stamina to make it sure that Chase could succeed, right? Would that be taking harm for someone else?
Yeah.
That would be my other ribbon, so add another XP to that.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Anyway, now that we're back.
Wow. Okay, so Norden Ali, or Snowshoe rather, whatever you like, is starting to use ribbons, which are basically just a little extra incentive for you to gain experience points. So we are pretty experience point rich after this.
Big time.
Where is Stellar? No. What does Edict actually want other than the Regency? No. Why are the networks breaking apart? And that's the question that lingers.
Damn, that's a question.
And so you pose a very large question, Snowshoe, and I'll have you dig through your comfort deck until a major arcana appears.
All right. Nope. Still no. Wow, this
my
is
God.
not. Nope.
Yeah, I had to pull like 8 or 9 cards before I finally got
I put mine on the
chariot.
first one. Just
It was
immediately.
insane.
The High Priestess.
The High Priestess. The High Priestess's tenets are intuition, subconsciousness, enshroudedness. And so you pierce through the veil of this trial to try to find an answer, pierce through the enshroudedness. And someone meets you here, the High Priestess.
Hello, Snowshoe. It's been a while since I've seen you here.
The waking world has drawn my attention.
The waking world, the sleeping world. Oh, it's all becoming so similar, isn't it?
That's my question. The barriers seem to be dissolving in front of our eyes.
And you want to know why?
I do. I have guesses, but yes, I do.
Well, Snowshoe, lean in closer and let me tell you a little secret. A great journey changes change, and with it changes time. And what do the networks do? They just react accordingly, don't they?
They do, and they've changed before, have they not?
Who's to say?
And I think that the High Priestess slips out of your grasp as you are pulled into the final tier of the Dream Network.
Snowshoe still asks one follow-up question, even though he knows that there is no real answer. In fact, it's not a question at all. So this is a collective journey. And then I let it go. Let's pull from my discomfort deck.
Yeah, let's figure out if this incurs a calamity. And just to hang a little bell on what exactly a calamity is in our game, a calamity occurs when a major arcana wraps themselves so tightly around you and your adventure that you reach a breaking point where you must either fulfill their wish or deny them. And regardless of what you choose, the other major arcana associated with your character then get pissed that your attention is not on them. So in this case, the act of asking the question invites the major arcana in enough that they consider that act a fulfillment of their obligation. The major arcana you fulfilled, in this case the lovers on Brass's side and the high priestess if this draw goes poorly, will each grant you a boon, which you will need to fend off the coming calamity or calamities from the other major arcana in your roster. So Snowshoe, let's draw from your discomfort deck and figure out if we have one calamity or two calamities coming our way.
3 wands, not bad, not bad. King of Cups, still not bad. And the Devil.
Are you kidding me?
So I'll have you max out the High Priestess's obligation track, and we have not one but 2 calamities going into this final episode. And the final tier. And speaking of, questions answered, Major Arcana pleased, and the Sleepwalker, no, Uncle Edict's Doppel, dealt with. You feel the instantaneous but discombobulating feeling of being pulled through a spaceless, timeless void. From the emotions tier to the final tier of the dream network, the manifestations tier. Here in this tier, you can feel you're close. The sensation of a destination nearby is a comfort numbed immediately by the painful sting of difficult memories that have taken residence here. The temporal, as the Sleepwalker called it, is here. Both because it exists in the space and because you have manifested it here and now by the act of coming here. And in this manifested place, above all other painful memories, you feel a call for help, a call from KnightFall, reaching out to family, a call from X, scared of wasting away here, but even more terrified of who might find her. And beneath it all, an ever-present undercurrent of a song. A lullaby.
The Network Defenders, a story told using Planet Arcana's upcoming game, A Fool's Errand. That was Draconics as the Brass Alchemist, Norden Ali Kadir as Snowshoe, Sam Starr as Chase, B. Marcellier and Jay Strotman as the world around them, with Sean Oldfield as tech producer. Scored, sound designed, and edited by Jay Strotman with additional music and lyrics by B. Marcellier. Additional production help by Peter Marcellier and Sky Wallace. Please support and follow the cast on social media, and if you're interested in updates on A Fool's Errand, the game we're developing in these episodes, consider joining the Planet Arcana Patreon or J&B's mailing lists. All information above is found in the show notes. See you next time for the thrilling finale.